Okay. You know, I like to show off and show you what I got. You know, I like to show you what I got. So today, I'm going to be telling you all about honey. Look at that. Okay. Hi everyone, namaste, welcome. This is Nandi. Welcome back to Vibrant Authentic Living. So today I'm going to be sharing with you about this awesome stuff. Goodness, nature's goodness, honey. Usually, well, I just got my 3 bottles of honey. I usually order 3 at a time from, I know, two different beekeepers. One is a couple, a friend of mine and her husband. They keep bees, and so I order from them. Sometimes I also have this other supplier, another beekeeper who I buy from, right? So when I'm making my fruit juices, I don't put honey in them, with the exception of about 3 juices. The sorrel, when I'm making my sorrel, I'll put a little honey and ginger. I also put honey when I'm making tamarind juice, because the tamarind is very tart, and so I like to just soften that sourness in the tamarind with some honey. I also will use honey when I'm making sea moss. So for example, when I'm blending my sea moss with put a little hemp seed and a little honey, right? So those are the 3 times when I really use honey in my juices, because I like to just have my juices as is, no sweetener added. However, honey is packed, loaded with nutrients, and if you are a beekeeper and you know about honey and how it is made, drop some comments and tell us about the honey experience, right? How it is made. I'm not a beekeeper, but from my limited knowledge, the bees, the worker bees, they go out, we say as busy as a bee. They really are busy. I've been watching the bees. Right at my gate there's a palm tree, and it's sent out some blossoms, and for the past couple of weeks the bees have swarmed it. I actually did a couple of videos of them just buzzing about, collecting the nectar and collecting the pollen. After a while, when I went back, one of the mornings I went back, I realized there's no pollen left. So they stripped it clean. They are very busy creatures. So what they do, they collect the pollen, they collect the nectar from flowers, and based on what I've read, one worker bee might visit 100 flowers collecting pollen and nectar. And the bee actually stores this in a little pouch, a little stomach, and keeps it there with a little of its saliva. Yes, I remember growing up and I heard, honey is bee vomit. And I said, what? And the person said, yes, the bees vomit up the honey. That's how it's made. It's not as gruesome as that, right? Yes, it does have a little of the bee's saliva. He stores it until he gets home. So it's just like your shopping bag. He has a little shopping bag. It's inside of him. Give the guy a break, huh? Alright, so he takes it home, the worker bee actually, yeah, takes it home, and then empties the sack, and that's when the real process, the honey making process begins, right? The house bees, so the worker hands it over to the house bees, and they will inject some digestive enzymes into the combination of the pollen and nectar, and these enzymes will start the breaking down of the pollen and nectar. And also you have bees there performing mechanical tasks that further dehydrate the product. Eventually we have the honey being formed, and it is stored in the honeycomb, sealed with beeswax. In the temperate lands, the bees actually store honey to keep them during the winter. Now here in the Caribbean we have no real winter of such, but you know, they do put up some of the honey for times when probably there's not as much pollen, not as much nectar. They have that as their storehouse. They usually make much more than they can use, and so we help them out a bit by stealing some. Okay, so honey, like I said, is very, very nutritious. It's simple carbohydrates, simple sugar, but it also has other nutrients, packed with other nutrients, right? It's not just the simple sugar, not just energy. So honey can, traditionally growing up, if you had a sore throat, you know, you were told take some honey with a little lime, and that will ease your sore throat. Honey, the nutrients in honey are antioxidants, and they are very good in promoting strong immunity, particularly towards the cold, the flu, respiratory tract infections, and so on. I read once that honey is the only food that does not perish. It does not spoil. I don't know if this is true, but I've read it in more than one sources. As a matter of fact, I read that honey was found in the pyramids, some of the pyramids of the ancient Egyptians, still preserved, still edible after so many thousands of years. So it doesn't go bad based on my research. Like I said, if you are a beekeeper, or you're someone who is involved in any process of beekeeping, and maybe you can tell us, is it true that honey is non-perishable? It's the only food that's non-perishable, will not spoil. Sorry, is this true or false? No, unfortunately, some beekeepers, some persons who provide us with honey, they have a tendency to want to stretch it, as we call it, to stretch the honey. So they will add things to it, and you don't get the authentic product. They might add water, or I don't even know the other things that they add in it. I've heard they might add sugar and water just to stretch it. You know, you'll always find some unscrupulous persons who want to shortchange their customers. I always try to get authentic sources, not just for my honey but for everything that I consume, because it is very important to me that I get the very best, because that's what I'm putting into my body. Right, if you look at the honey, well, let me use this bottle that has some drain. You notice how it flows, right? It should not be water. If you buy the honey and you turn it up and it just gushes down, you can suspect that something has been added to it. The honey is very slow moving. See that? It's heavy, very slow moving and bubbly. That's how it should flow. You should not be seeing any froth. As a matter of fact, I got some honey from someone not too long ago, and it had a lot of froth at the top, right? And it was very liquid, very runny. And I took a picture and I sent it back to the supplier and I said, this does not look like genuine honey, this looks like it has been stretched. And they sent back to say, no, it has not been stretched. That's how the honey is sometimes, it's frothy. I'm not buying that because I'm not used to my honey being like that. If you know about these things, tell me, is it true that some honey are naturally frothy, white froth at the top? This is how I know my honey should look, right? Brown. And the color of the honey, I don't know if you can see, I have, it's gonna be difficult. Let me hold down the camera a little so you can see. Alright, so that's the color of the honey. It depends on what the bee ate, the type of pollen and nectar that the bee ate. So different types. So for example, in Jamaica we have logwood honey, different types of wood, different types of pollen. It will give the honey a different color and a different taste as well. Yes, so that's it for the honey. That's it for the honey. If you have more information that you can add, please drop a line in the comments. You know, we want to learn as much as we can. Right, but the honey is one of those things that I definitely from time to time add to my juices. Alright, so if you have not subscribed to Vibrant Authentic Living, now would be a great time for you to do so. And if you want to support the channel, just go on over to Patreon. There's a link below in the description. Follow the link, go on over to Patreon, and become a supporter of the channel. If you have not subscribed, like I said, please subscribe, please share the video, like the video, leave comments. All these things help to promote the channel and to help us to reach more persons, so we all can learn about the foods, the natural foods that nature prepared for us, and we can make better choices. Alright, so this is Nandi checking out, and I'll see you in the next video.